Yo, was nights before Christmas and all through the house. Some NFL fans were stirring because I don't know what else to say. Anyway, Willie Epting Jr., Shake Back Sports OT. This is the final divisional roundup for the NFL as we head to the NFL season. Man, we are less than 3 weeks away, and I am very, very excited. Equally as excited as my homies, my brothers that I'm going to bring on here in just a minute. But you already know what it is, partner. You already know what it is. Come on, y'all. Let's go. Let's get it. Everybody, you already know what it is when you hear that music. Shake Back Sports OT, baby. Overtime. Once again, it is live, loud, and in color. Thank you guys out there for checking us out. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, as well as Periscope. We thank you for your support, love, and all of that. All right, man, let's bring these knuckleheads onto the stage. Knucklehead number one, hailing out of the 318. He is to do everything, man, for Team Up Sports Consulting and the Shakeback Media Group. He is former Sergeant of the Marine Corps, retired. Thank you for your service. Who are we talking about? Jae Mott. 318. Y'all stand up. Jay, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, nothing too much. How y'all doing today?
Man, everything is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I see you got your cowboy stuff on and behind you. We're going to let that slide because the next moron that's coming to the stage, he's also a Cowboy fan, and we done already got into it, y'all, off air already. The show ain't even started yet, and he done already racked my nerves. But you know what, though? He is my homie. He is my little big brother, man. We've been friends for more than 20 years. And look, if I can go into the kitchen at 1 o'clock in the morning and thaw out some catfish and we chow down while we play dominoes, this dude knows what I'm talking about. Who am I talking about? None other than Cory Ellison. Cory, what's up, man?
What's up, man?
Why I gotta be out there, bro?
Oh, what?
What you call me?
I just gave you the best introduction ever.
Well, I just know that y'all just threw an alley-oop because when I come to Dallas, we're gonna have some fried catfish at some point.
Yes, sir. What you bringing from the boot though?
Hey, look, I'll find something. So y'all just tell me what we gotta bring. So I'll get somebody to make us something. So.
You know what, man? That's a bet because you know what, man? Shout out to my boy and our boy Mayor Gerald Brown out there in Richwood, Louisiana. He's going through a little bit of a challenge there as the mayor of Richwood, and I texted him earlier today and asked him if there was anything that we could do, and he just said, just pray. Jay, I know you know about what's going on with him out there. I saw it on the news. Cory, to bring you up to speed, there's been an attempt for a recall election for Gerald. And we got this thing there, or actually there's a thing out on Facebook. I stand with Gerald Brown. So we stand with you, my brother, when we tell you that, not just in deed, but also in work and whatever that may be that you need us to fulfill. So, and you know, I had to mention him too, because he's a freaking Cowboy fan too. So, you know, he's been my good friend since I don't know, one of them years right after we moved from California. But he ain't perfect, and him being a Cowboy fan attests to that.
Well, it sounds like you keep finding friends that have some common sense.
Yeah. Okay. What's your point?
You keep flocking to these Cowboy fans. So
I keep flocking to them.
That's what I said. Did I stutter?
You said I keep flocking to him. That you know what, man? Let's wrap this up, man. We better get on to the last two.
Well, look, man, you can't keep throwing your shots, bro, and don't expect me to say nothing back. I'm gonna hit back.
I didn't even say nothing about you. I was talking about Gerald.
Man, you said about 4 things.
What did I say, Corey? What did I say? What did he say?
What
you know what?
Me?
Hold on, dog. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait.
What'd he say? What'd he say? What'd he say?
What did I say, Corey?
What haven't you said, Willie?
What?
What haven't you said?
Okay, never mind. See, that's what I'm talking about right there.
That's what I'm talking about. I keep telling you every week that dementia keeps setting in. You forget what you say.
I know what I said. I'm asking you to tell me what I said.
I heard what you said. Why I got to tell you?
Because I asked for it.
No,
I'm asking. See, this is what brothers do, man. That argue, fight, and fuss.
Yep.
This is what we do. This is what we do, man. And I love every freaking second of it. Okay, boys, come on, man. Let's get to these. Let's get to these last teams in these last 2 divisions. Michael James Hamilton II, whose team is in the NFC West. That dude is not with us on this episode. Maybe he will come in later. If he does, I'll take a poll to see if he is allowed into the room. And hopefully for him, we won't be done by his or done with his team by then. But we might be because we started in the NFC West. And no, you know what? We're gonna start in the AFC West because the team I have pulled up is the Denver Broncos. And the Broncos have 3 potential all-pro type of receivers with Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, and KJ Hamler. Now, KJ Hamler maybe not so much, but he is a darn good slot receiver. Cortland Sutton is big, fast, got great hands. Jerry Jeudy might be just the best route runner in the NFL. And their running back room consists of Melvin Gordon III as well as Javonte Freeman. Now, their skill players seem to be set, Corey. But right now, they have Drew Lock as their number 1 or their QB1. Is Lock going to be the hindrance, or is he going to be the help?
In the long run, I think he's going to be the hindrance. They definitely need an upgrade at quarterback. Like you said, they definitely got the skill position wide receivers there. If they had a real nice solid quarterback, to couple with those 3, then I think things would be a lot better for them. They got talent. I just think they need somebody in that leadership position, the quarterback, to push them further.
So, do you think that at some point we may see Teddy Bridgewater ascend to the QB1 spot? And if
Drew Lock doesn't do what he's supposed to do, if he doesn't produce, then yes, next man up got to come on.
Yeah. So if that is the case, how confident are we that Bridgewater could actually take the Broncos to the next step, which could potentially be to the playoffs with all of the weapons they have on the outside?
I think the thing about Bridgewater, man, is that he also has the ability to move around in the pocket and move. I don't know if Locke has that ability or not. I know he's not as athletic and as fast as him. So I think it just kind of depends, man. If Drew Lock can come in and show that he can stay in the pocket and make those passes they need to make and get those passes to those receivers, then all good. But I don't know how Denver's offensive line is. So if the offensive line is not that good, you're going to have a quarterback that has the ability to scramble some, which is what Teddy Bridgewater can do. So it's kind of up in the air.
Yeah, their offensive line consists of Garrett Bowles, Dalton Reisner, Lloyd Cushenberry III, Graham Glasgow, as well as Bobby Massey. Now, they also have Cameron Fleming on the depth chart as well. So we'll see. I like Melvin Gordon as a running back. I really do. He can run between the tackles. He can run away from you. He wasn't worth nearly the amount of money that he was trying to get when they were in San Diego. He wanted Ezekiel Elliott type money. He ain't Ezekiel Elliott. The defense, Jay, the defense, Bradley Chubb on one side, that dude, man, from DeSoto on the other side. Y'all know his name, Von Miller. Is this the year where we actually get double-digit plus sacks from both of those guys?
Yes. I say so because Patrick Surtain is, I mean, he's looking like Champ Bailey out there early. But when I saw that pick 6 that he did to Kirk Cousins, I thought that was Champ Bailey picking it off. He looked just like that. I was like, whoa. So, and even I think Patrick Peterson was up in the booth calling the play at the time, and he even said, wow, it caught him off guard. But with those him coinciding with, they got one of the best safeties in football in Justin Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
And so they got players at every level that can, play. The defense is solid. And Fangio, that's his specialty is defense. So
yeah. And when you talked about one of the best safeties in the NFL, of course, you're talking about Mr. Simmons, Justin Simmons. He got paid. He got the bag in the offseason too. I think the weakest link of that secondary might be Ronald Darby because he kept getting toasted when he was in Philly. But when you have people that can rush the passer like Chubb and Miller, look, you are putting your DBs in prime position to make a lot of plays. So I like their defense. I think their quarterback play is going to be what is going to either make them or break them. Okay, so let's move on to the next squad in the AFC West. That is going to be the last year's runner-up, the Kansas City Chiefs. Y'all know what my motto is when it comes to the Chiefs.
You love them.
I hate them.
Oh,
I hate them. We beat them. Beat them twice. Y'all got them this year at Arrowhead. But they are led, of course, by that bad man. Well, that's Aaron Rodgers. Patrick Mahomes is what his birth name is. And we all know the fanfare on offense: Patrick Mahomes, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Travis Kelce. The offensive line has been revamped with Orlando Brown Jr. that they got in the trade over from the Baltimore Ravens. And then also left guard Joe Thuney, he's there as well. And here's the thing, man. What do you guys think? Let's start with you, Jay, with this. What do you think needs to happen in order? Because there are other receivers, Byron Pringle. Okay, so we know that Sammy Watkins is gone, but Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman are the speedsters, and we know what Tyreek Hill is. Do we see Mecole Hardman actually taking that next step and becoming that viable number 2 receiver this year, Jay?
I do. I believe so because, I mean, he has the speed, but as far as like the nuances that he's getting better at, and if you look at his route running and his intermediate game, that's what's going to really help him. And once he gets that taken care of, because that was the only reason why he slid in the draft in the first place, because he's got world-class speed. It's just, you got, Hill, you need a route runner and you need somebody that can work the underneath. And I think that way they can play off each other. And then you still have Travis Kelce in there as well. So, he's the number. I mean, you got Tyreek Hill number 1, and then Kelce 1A, because right now, per the NFL Network top 100 players, he's in the top 10. So,
matchup nightmare. And when you have Kelce and you have Hill, look, the Raiders showed a recipe to beat the Chiefs as well as the San Francisco 49ers did in the Super Bowl, not last year, but 2 years ago. And I'm going to say this, and y'all are probably going to look at me crazy. The wide receiver core as a whole, outside of Tyreek Hill, they're average at best. And Tyreek Hill makes them above average, him and him alone. But those other guys, average at best. I mean,
but you're not counting Travis Kelce, right? You count him as a tight end, right?
I'm counting him as a tight end. But
okay.
But here's my thing too with this, because of course, nobody's going to be able to stay with Tyreek Hill all over the field for 3, 4, 5 seconds. We know that. But if somehow you have to make Pringle and Hartman beat you. I don't care if you have to double. You can double Hill and you can double Kelsey and put them other dudes 1-on-1, or maybe do some sort of combo zone man coverage or whatever. I don't know, but I really feel as though. And I've been thinking this even when Sammy Watkins was there and they were all doing their. I mean, that receiving core is average at best, and I hate them.
Let me ask you this, Willie. Do you think with this being his second year, you think they're going to use Clyde Edwards-Helaire more in the passing game?
I think they will, because that's why they drafted him. So
that's going to be another threat too.
Yeah, he is another threat. And I think for him, he had a lot of nagging injuries last year, a lot of sprained ankles. Yeah, he actually had a sprained ankle in camp and had to sit out a few days. So, yeah, that's why they drafted him, Corey. So to answer your question, unequivocally, yes. Let's talk about the defense, Jay. They've got one of the top players in the NFL in the secondary, the Honey Badger. He's still doing it. Former Cowboy Anthony Hitchens is there at the Mike linebacker spot.
Playing well too.
Huh?
Playing well too.
Yeah. You're right. Now here's the deal: Frank Clark on one side, Chris Jones on the other. Frank Clark, hey, he like to tote gats and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that what Biggie told us? Packing gats. So if Frank Clark is not available for a good part of the season, how would this affect their D-line, Jay?
Well, it'll be he's all pro. So it's definitely going to be an impact. Like right now, that's the whole thing that there's a lot of teams right now waiting on Roger Goodell to come out and start handing down whether they're going to be able to play or not. And that's going to tell a lot. And because if teams don't know, they don't know how to react. And of course, you always try to have the next man up. And surely the Chiefs ain't depending on Taco Charlton. So.
They cut him today.
Okay. Well,
yeah, they cut him today.
Well, I'm glad. Well, not glad that he got cut, but you know what I'm saying. As far as like at least their personnel people, they know. Okay, well, his better days are behind him. So
he was what 23rd pick overall in 2017.
Yes, something like that.
Wow.
It's nightmares.
He was wrecking shop at Michigan. Mm-hmm. And he actually had some good plays down in Miami too.
Yes, he did. And he got a ring.
And he's gotten a ring. Because he got a ring in 2019 with 2019 with Mo Claiborne.
Yep. So.
Wow. All right, fellas, that's gonna wrap it up for the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's move on to, I think it's gonna be the Las Vegas Raiders. Yep, the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm gonna try to be objective on this, guys. Okay, I promise. Year 3 or 4 for John Gruden. Almost halfway through a 10-year, $100 million contract. I would like for Jay to ask me a question about the Raiders and John Gruden and where I think we are at this point.
All right, Willie. Because I'm going to ask you this question. All right. Based off of the last 4 years and where are they where your expectations would have projected them for right now, and what is your expectations going into this season? And is this a make or break year for John Gruden and Mike Mayock?
I expected the Raiders to actually have been a playoff team by now. The last 2 years, we had knocked on the door all the way until the end, until it was over. So that tells me a couple things. Number one, in that John Gruden and Mike Mayock had done a decent enough job in putting a team together that could win. But I think as you go further along into the season, it becomes more about coaching adjustments, because in particular with your division foes, they're going to see you for the second time, and you got to make those adjustments. I'm glad that Gus Bradley is there to run the defense. Everything that I've been told or everything that I've seen is that the defense looks fantastic. I mean, but how much more you couldn't look any worse than the defense has looked over the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 24, 37 years. I think that the personnel is there up front with Crosby and Nguku and even Carl Nassib. The linebackers are solid with Littleton. And I think the back end has improved as well. I mean, hopefully Jonathan Abram can stop slamming himself into all kinds of objects on the sideline and nearly killing himself. And then when you talk about Mayock, Gruden, and Derek Carr has never been Gruden's guy. We know that. There's no secret behind it. I just wish that they would just unleash the playbook because we got speed at the wideouts. We got the third best tight end in the NFL. And Josh Jacobs is whatever you want to say about him. He's a bell cow. And with Kenyon Drake coming over, that is going to occupy another weapon, or that's going to provide another weapon out of the backfield and as a pass receiver, as well as running between the tackles and outside the tackles. So is it a make it or break year? It's not going to be a make it or break year for Gruden because he's got 10 years, $100 million guaranteed. He ain't going nowhere. So my expectations of them this year is to finally push that last hope over. And when you get to week 15, week 16, instead of losing those games that could put you in the playoffs, you're not supposed to win those.
Can I ask you, there's one player that's been talked about, and he's a linebacker, and his name is KJ Wright.
Yeah.
How do you feel about him? Could he be the piece that could help that defense? Not only is he a veteran, not only is he a champion, but the experience. I mean, he's like he could pull that whole defense together. What do you think about that?
And if we can get 70% of 100% of what he used to be, then we'd be all right. Now, that dude's a tackling machine, and his leadership would be very, very much welcome in that linebacking room. I also like the depth that we have on the D line. You know, we got Mr. Solomon Thomas over from the 49ers, Gerald McCoy. He can plug the middle. So I'm happy about that. I think the defense is going to be markedly better. I mean, like going from 31st in the league probably to like maybe number 13 or 14. And Derek Carr is a good enough quarterback. He had a career. His best year was last year. Better than the 2016 year where he got his leg broken, was about to win the MVP, and we were going to meet y'all in the Super Bowl in Houston. Last year's year was better for him than it was for that one. So if you can give Derek Carr with these weapons, Ruggs the third, Brian Edwards, who's a beast, Hunter Renfrow is third in Renfrow. I don't care what the down and the distance is. He's going to get the first down. And you give Derek Carr in this offense a defense that will go from 32nd to maybe like 13, 14, or 15. The Raiders will be in the playoffs. Any other questions?
I got a question.
Good. Come on.
So I saw something on Twitter and I shared it with you. And what do you think about, since the Raiders traded Khalil Mack in 2018, they haven't had a defensive player rate over 78. And then there was whispers that the Raiders called to try to get Khalil Mack back. What's your thoughts on that?
The fact that they have not had a player to rank 78 or better, I attribute that to a couple of things. Number one, the scheme. Number two, the actual game plan and the coordinator, whoever I forgot his. Oh, Paul Gunther, get your butt out of here. So, and then number three, I understand, Corey, after reading that all of that was talked about before they made these other moves in free agency. So, since that's the case, and I didn't realize that until after I had tweeted back at you earlier, don't want them. So since that new information is available for me, I wouldn't have minded it so much of going to get him. But now, no. And I base that answer on what I see now as opposed to when that actually took place.
I'll tell you what I thought whenever you asked that question. I was like, okay, well, it would go back to what you talked about last week, Willie, when we talked about how if the Raiders won that trade or not won that trade. Well, what would it take what would they were willing to offer to get Khalil Mack back? Because, of course, you're not going to give up 3 first-round picks now. So I guess that was the fascinating situation where you really would win the trade at that point if you get him back and give up way less. So.
Yeah, because I could see him going back to the Raiders for maybe a 2 and maybe another mid-round and maybe some kind of conditional pick that will be contingent upon the success of the team. All right. Appreciate it, fellas, man. That was good. I like being under the gun like that, man. Keep it coming. Y'all got any more questions before we move on?
No, sir.
Los Angeles Chargers up next. Justin Herbert, second-year quarterback. Many people are picking him or I shouldn't say many. There's a few people out there that's picking him to win the MVP. Is he going to take that much of a leap in his second year?
I wouldn't say MVP, but he's going to take a big leap. And, I mean, he is a special quarterback. I mean, going all the way back to his junior year at Oregon, I mean, you just knew. I mean, he just looks the part. All he needs is to be molded. And I think that's the key. I really like Anthony Lynn as a head coach because I really like the way he works with quarterbacks. It was unfortunate that, it didn't work out in Los Angeles. However, this kid, man, and he has weapons with Keenan Allen, and that's something that, man, he's fun to watch. That's all I can say. I mean, I admire him because I watch him and I actually enjoy watching him. So.
Yeah, the weapons that he has is, of course, when Melvin Gordon III went off to Denver, that gave way to Austin Eckler to be the RB1. Mm-hmm. They also have Justin Jackson, Joshua Kelly. There in that backfield, Mike Williams along with Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is to me one of the if not the best receiver in the NFL that nobody talks about. And unfortunately for him, he's sustained a couple of really, really serious injuries and had been out for the year a couple of different times. But there's hardly anybody in the league that gets separation like that cat does. And then they added Jared Cook, who also played for the Saints. As Jared Cook who played for the Saints, the Raiders, and the Packers, now is going to take his talents to Inglewood. And they got Brian Bulaga in the trade from Green Bay. Remember, he was their anchor on that offensive line. I'm kind of afraid of the Chargers, man. And in terms of Justin Herbert, Corey, I don't see him suffering from the sophomore slump. What say you?
I agree, man. I definitely like Justin Herbert a lot. Big, strong quarterback, man. Has a nice arm. I think he has the weapons as far as receivers. My question is, what is Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson going to do? Are they going to step up? Austin Eckler gets hurt from time to time. Can he stay healthy? And if he can stay healthy and produce, then there's just going to be that extra thing that's going to help them offensive-wise. But, yeah, man, I love Justin Herbert a lot, man. I think it was a great, solid pick for them. He showed what he could do last year, and I think he's just going to continue to improve. But, like I said, they need that run game to help them to get over that hump.
Yeah, I think for Eckler, I mean, he's not one of the bigger backs. He's not Melvin Gordon III by any stretch of the imagination. Although I did agree with the Chargers not giving him the money, he being Melvin Gordon III, the money that he was asking for. I think they may have pulled the trigger a bit too soon, though, because I don't think Eckler is that guy. I mean, he's a great change of pace, and maybe that's what they plan on doing. Maybe they plan on doing the running back by committee. But Justin Herbert, man, he is the real freaking deal.
And a lot of people they talk about with like Green Bay, and of course, the loan where it went from Favre to Rodgers. Well, Montana to Young. Well, if you look at, the Chargers, well, they went from Breeze to Rivers, and now, of course, they got Justin Herbert. That's a pretty long time. That's almost 20 years of good quarterback play. So it's time for their general manager to build a team around those quarterbacks.
Yeah,
the quarterback they have now.
Yeah, and I think they're going to be much. A lot of people are picking them to go to the Super Bowl. Actually, Joey Bosa
about that one.
Joey Bosa's back. Derwin James Jr. is going to be back. Linval Joseph is going to be plugged in the middle. I mean, hey, Chris Harris came over from Denver. He still got a lot in the tank. We'll see, man. I think the AFC West is going to be one of the best divisions in all of football. How's that, Cory? One of the best.
Agreed.
Shake your head like this if you agree. All right, let's move on to the NFC West. We're going to start with the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray. How much of a step is he going to take this year in year 3, Cory? That's your boy from Allen, Texas.
And he, I like Kyler Murray. I think sometimes he tries to do too much. I think if he can learn to stay in the pocket more and be poised in the pocket instead of, rolling out so much and gambling, they'll go a lot further. They definitely have receivers there, that he can work with. But like any other team, man, your team is going to go as your quarterback goes. And he just gambles a little bit too much for me, man, and tries to do too much. If he can, like I said, if he can stay consistent and not get under pressure and rattle so easily, they'll go a lot further than what they have been.
Yeah, I think last year he did show that improvement, particularly in the first part of the season. And then some injuries got a hold of him a little there towards the middle and then the end. Gone is Larry Fitzgerald, although he has not ruled out not playing this year. The receiver spoke today, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green in the 1-year deal over from Cincinnati. Christian Kirk, the former Texas A&M Aggie. He has all the speed on the wide receiver or in the wide receiver room. I think they have it all. I think DeAndre Hopkins is your everything receiver. I think AJ Green still has enough in the tank to move the chains, and Christian Kirk can take the top off the defense. Jay?
Well, this is my thing. DeAndre Hopkins, for me, he's the best receiver in football. Because of the simple fact that whether it was with Deshaun Watson, he could take that guy can take the top off the defense. He could beat you man to man. He could take it underneath. You could if offensive coordinator, if I had him, I would just it's just, and that's who really led me to CeeDee Lamb was because when I saw him and I studied him with Houston, and if you watch their games, you see them, they almost identical. Except, of course, DeAndre, nobody to me, I know people talk about Devontae Adams, and that's the only thing that I want Kyler Murray to do is stay in the pocket, get the ball to him. If they do that, it's going to be a show.
And the defense, man, they got one of the best safeties out there in Budda Baker, although don't put him in a heat with DK Metcalf because he's going to get burnt. Marcus Golden at the hey, look who we got joining the fray. Just in time. Let's bring him on in here. One of the dopest barbers on the planet. The CEO of School Clothes. I'll let him tell you guys what that stands for. Decked out in his Laker gear. That's right. He is my Laker brother, Michael James Hamilton II.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
What up, bro?
Good evening.
What's happening, fellas? What's happening?
Good evening.
What's good, fellas?
Not much, man. You chimed in at the right time because we are in your team's division. We've already wrapped up the AFC West. We're talking about the Arizona Cardinals right now. And since I I remember you telling me how much trouble the Cardinals gave your 49ers. I had asked the other fellas if they think that Kyler Murray is going to take that next step this year. What do you say?
Man, that's the question. I think he has the ability to, man. The time he's been in the league, I can only speak from our experience. He give us fits, man, but we have trouble with more mobile quarterbacks anyway, but he's mobile and he can really throw the football. So we usually end up in dog fights when we play him, man. But it's always levels to it. Okay, you showed the league you can play. Now, can you take the next step and elevate your squad? You being able to play is one thing, but the elevation of your squad, that's what he's going to have to find out this year. And without Larry Fitzgerald, that takes a little security blanket away from it. But DeAndre Hopkins, of course, is a top-tier receiver. And Christian Kirk, I like him. Defensively, they're okay. I think they got some guys on there that still got something to prove. But, I look for them, honestly, be third or fourth in the division. So I don't know where, how high that step is going to be. But he's going to have to make it if they're going to contend.
Yeah, we were talking about the defense, and in particular, Budda Baker. He's one of the best safeties out there. Just don't put him in the same heat with DK Metcalf, and he might survive. I'm looking for a big step, man, from Isaiah Simmons. I picked that dude to be the defensive player of the year or the defensive rookie of the year. And I know he was just trying to feel around. He's so talented, and he can play so many positions. I think that actually went against him last year.
Exactly.
So now that he has gotten his feet wet and gotten his duck bill knocked around a couple times, maybe for him and that team, that he would be able to take that next step. And then J.J. Watt on the front line. I mean, if you can get, I like to say it this way, if you can get 70% of 100% of what he used to be, they will be
winning.
Say it again?
I said, you're right. You winning. If you get 70% of what he used to be, you winning.
Yeah.
Because he only has to be the other guy.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, so let's move on to the Los Angeles Rams. And this is going to be some over-under stuff. Y'all know how I like to play with numbers. So, Jay, Matthew Stafford, over, under, 33.5 touchdown passes this year.
Let me tell you a little story real quick about Matt Stafford.
Let me tell you a little story.
Highland Park High School. He's from Dallas, okay. Highland Park
sir.
High School, one of I guess top number 2. I mean, it's a nice school. And I was the Marine Corps recruiter for that school the year that he was there. So I got a chance to meet Matt Stafford. I've always liked him. I always, he went to Georgia, done a great job there, went on to and made a lot of money in Detroit. And I mean, he's a warrior. I mean, he's just not a lot of people seen him. But he's gonna show out with the Rams. He gonna throw over 33 touchdowns. So I say 35.
Oh, under. Cory, the amount of touchdowns between Robert Woods, Deshaun Jackson, Cooper Kupp. 34. No, I'm sorry. 27.5. Deshaun Watson, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp.
I'm going to say under because Deshaun Watson can't stay healthy. He can't stay on the field.
Mike, you wanted to say something.
Now, who? Deshaun Jackson? Is that where
Deshaun Jackson?
Yeah.
Is that where he is?
Did I say Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, I didn't even know that's what Jackson was.
Yeah, he signed there in the office.
He can't stay on the field. He can't stay healthy. His hamstring's gone.
Right.
Okay, so Mikey, what you say?
You said what was the number 27.5?
Uh-huh.
Under that.
Yeah.
I think their tight end is gonna have to play a lot and catch a lot of balls and for them to really be successful. So I do think he's gonna throw into the 30s, 35 kind of high. I can see 30, 31, but because to win in our division, you really got to be able to run the football.
And that's why I was going next, because Cam Akers is out for the year. Daryl Henderson Jr. steps up. It'd be him and Xavier Jones. Tyler Higbee is their tight end, and he actually is one of the top 10 tight ends in the league, if you ask me. I'm not sure about that running game. You know, I don't know if Henderson Jr. is going to be able to carry the load like they were expecting Cam Akers to do. And, of course, Todd Gurley is not there anymore. So, with that hit that's been taken to their running game, I think it's going to affect Stafford and those receivers in a sense. Now, he was in Detroit, and he's throwing for 4,000 or 5,000 yards in Detroit with basically only Calvin Johnson. So we about to find out really how good of a quarterback either he is or how good of a quarterback he's not.
And he has a good coach too.
Yes, he does.
And he got a
Very
defense.
good coach.
Yeah,
He's got a defense for a change.
and that's where I was going next. Their defense on paper, one of the best. They got that guy on the back end. I think y'all might know his name is Mr. Ramsey. Aaron Donald is still the man along the front. I think their linebackers might be the weak point of their squad, but you know what? When you got Aaron Donald and Sebastian Joseph Day and Ashawn Robinson that can actually get pressure on the quarterback and stuff the run saying, you might have something there. Okay, that's the Los Angeles Rams. Let's move on to who's next? Goldberg. Who's next? San Francisco 49ers. Let's put Mike on the hot seat. We all gonna ask him one question, okay, and let him sweat it out. Who wants to go first?
Me.
Go, Jay. Go, DJ. That's my DJ.
You're the general manager, your head coach, whoever making the decision today. Trey Lance, is he your starting quarterback opening day?
Opening day, baby. Opening day. We already know what Jimmy Garoppolo is, man. You know, no offense to him, but he is what he is. You know, he's at this stage, he's an unhealthy game manager that can make some plays, but nothing downfield. You know, the inability to stay healthy is his biggest knock. But my biggest complaint is always he don't throw the ball past 15 yards. So when we play teams, they just sit, they secondary sit at 15 yards and dare us to throw the ball, and he don't. And you can't beat nobody like that consistently, man, because it keep too many guys in the run game. You know, they not scared you're gonna go over their head, so everybody's looking downhill at the run, which is what we do best. You know, and what I've seen through the preseason, both through analysis from the reporters that are there at practice and the preseason game, if Jimmy Garoppolo gonna make the same mistakes Trey Lance made, I'd rather Trey Lance make them so he can learn from them and give us the upside.
Good point. Good point.
Also, they have the most underrated wide receiver core in football.
Man, I'm telling, if we had somebody, I'm telling, Trey Lance is going to make Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel household names, man, because those dudes, they're hamstrung. They've only been able to do maybe 55% of what they probably really should be doing because we don't throw the ball deep.
And your head coach, Coach Callahan,
Shanahan.
I'm thinking about Bill Callahan. Coach Shanahan came out today and said, or yesterday actually, and said, I'm not ready to make the decision on who's going to start yet. That's an indictment against Jimmy Garoppolo, if you ask me.
Because at the beginning of training camp, he said it was Jimmy's job. And once again, you know, he can say he can be a political coach. Yeah, hey, we you know, Jimmy's looking great. He's a guy, but he's there at practice and he sees the same thing we're seeing. This is the same guy that didn't trust Jimmy Garoppolo to throw more than 8 times in a playoff game. This is the guy that traded 3 picks to go get this kid. So for me to sit here and think that he don't think this kid can come in and play right away, I mean, I don't go for that. But I never believe coaches this time of year anyway.
Yeah. I don't think I believe coaches any time of the year. Cory, what's your question for Big Mike?
Big Mike, my question is, your 49ers traded away 2 fourth-round picks, I believe, to move up to get Trey Sermon. Do you think he's going to be a bell cow and running back for your team?
I don't think he's going to be a bell cow, But if history follows my football team, he'll have a 3 or 4 week stretch where he's gonna get a lot of carries. You know, Raheem Mostert is the guy. But all our backs at some point or another seem to get tired, get hurt, get worn down. So between Mostert, Hasty, Sermon, and Elijah Mitchell, all of those guys will have games where you look like, that's the guy right there. That's him. Mm-hmm. So but I do know one thing for Trey Sermon. He's going to get a lot of short yardage carries and in the red zone carry, because of all the backs, he's the one guy that brings that bang between the tackles.
Yo, I gotta say this real quick because I'm cracking up. I'm looking at Cory's screen, y'all, and I see Martin playing on the TV. And he doing the dance. He doing the dance. Okay. Enough humor. Trey Sermon he was at Ohio State, dude, running those people over, running those kids over. I knew he was going to have at least a decent NFL career. Now, running backs from Ohio State typically have not done that great. I think J.K. Dobbins is going to be the one. Well, Ezekiel Elliott has already broken the mold. And then J.K. You're welcome. J.K. Oh, by the way, I hate them because he went to Ohio State. J.K. Dobbins, I think he's next on the list. Trey Sermon. I think they have a good complement of running backs with Mostert, Trey Sermon, Wayne Gallman. The second comes over from the Giants. He can actually tote the ball between the tackles too. So this may be what we see or what we have seen before when it was Breida, Mostert, and Tevin Coleman.
Tevin Coleman and Jeff Wilson. See, we're gonna somebody gonna get cut out of our running back room that's gonna go somewhere and get big carries, because we actually got a pretty deep allotment of running backs. And if you keep 4 backs, we're gonna cut somebody, because I forgot to mention Wayne Gallman. He's looked good in the preseason for us.
Mm-hmm. You also got Kyle Juszczyk too, right?
Oh, we just paid him, so he gonna. Now I'm glad you said that. As good an offensive coordinator as Kyle Shanahan is, he doesn't give him the ball enough during the season. And we pay him like a guy that's really going to touch the ball. Now, in the run game, he blocks a lot, but he don't catch the ball enough. That kid is, that dude can play.
Yeah, he can.
But he can really play, but he might go 2-3 games. He don't get no catches, no carries, no nothing. But we playing a fullback $5, $6, $7 million a year. I want to get more use out of that if we're gonna pay him.
Yeah. Also new to the squad is Muhammad Sanu Jr. or Senior rather.
He's gonna have an impact.
He's gonna have an impact from a veteran standpoint for Ayuk and Tuck Your Chain.
Yes, sir. That he needs it. Debo got to stay healthy, man. Debo is dynamic. To me rating him, Ayuk is the better receiver of all of them. Mm-hmm. Debo is probably the most explosive because of his running back / wide receiver style of play. But Debo gets hurt too often for me. That's the only thing, man. We need to keep him healthy so we can truly see how great he can be.
Okay. All right. I have a question, and then we're gonna move on to the Seattle Seahawks. And mine comes from the defensive side of the ball. It seems like that you guys have playmakers at every level. Nick Bosa back from the knee injury. Fred Warner, Azeez Al-Shaair, and as well as Emanuel Mosley, Jimmy Ward, and Jason Verrett in the secondary. Out of those 3 levels, which one do you believe is the weakest part of the defense?
Good question. Because really it's 2 levels. And when you name those linebackers, not Shaair, it's Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner. Those are the 2. Shaair is the 3rd linebacker. He doesn't play very much. He usually only play on first down. But Dre Greenlaw, I don't know if y'all ever watched this dude. That kid is a tackling machine. Mm-hmm. He made us get rid of Quan Alexander. We paid Quan Alexander big money. But this kid don't do nothing but make tackles. That's it. If you around him, you get ready to go to the ground. He don't play no game. So I think that's the strength of Fred Warner. He all pro. Defensive line, we got good depth. We're depending a lot on Nick Bosa being healthy and D Ford being healthy. Those two big old ifs, man. You know, I hate to say that about my own squad. D Ford is raggedy as they come, and Nick Bosa is working on two major knee injuries in 3 years. So for all the potential, yeah, you remember he got hurt. He got hurt at Stanford,
Ohio State.
Yeah, he was hurt there. He had a good rookie season. I'm not one that inflates it. He wasn't great. He had 9 sacks. Okay. I saw Alden Smith come in and have 14 sacks. So 9 don't impress me like that. Mm-hmm. And then he tore his knee up again last year. So in 3 years, he's had 2 major injuries. You know, he get hurt one more time. That's that. I don't want him no more. So we're depending. Yeah, we're depending a lot on his health. And D Ford, man, he came to us from Kansas City hurt. Mm-hmm. Now, when he's on the field, he provides an element of speed that we need. But you know, it's like anything else, man. If you got a raggedy car, man, are you ready to drive that to California? I don't know. I'm not banking my safety on that. So I would say
only if I'm in California.
Exactly. So secondary is probably the thing that sticks out because we really don't have any superstars. Mm-hmm. But Jason Verrett is pretty solid. He came back off of injury, played 2 or 3 years, and played really well last year. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping he's able to do that again. And on the other side, Emanuel Mosley, as an undrafted player, he's played pretty well, but he's not a Pro Bowl caliber player yet. You know, maybe he'll emerge as that. We drafted a young guy, Amadou Lenoir, I think that's his name. He's played pretty well in the preseason. And then, you know, we bring back, I think, K'Wan Williams. So secondary is probably our weakest part, you know. So if I was going to brag, I would brag on the front 7 and hope that the back end hold up. You know, that's really what we're hoping is that our back end is able to hold up under pressure. If the front end, if Bosa and Ford are there now, those guys look a whole lot better because you ain't getting but 3.5, 4 seconds to throw the football.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right, that's going to wrap it up for the 49ers, man. Let's end this thing with the Seattle Seahawks. Dangerous Russell Wilson and all of the drama that took place in the offseason between him and Pete Carroll. I want to play in Chicago. I want to get traded to the Vegas Raiders, but he winds up staying. Jay, where do you rank or would you put in the top 10 as a trio? Russell Wilson, Chris Carson, DK Metcalf.
And the top 10 in the NFL?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Yes. Because Metcalf, I mean, he's going to continue to progress. Wilson's one of the best quarterbacks in football. And Carson, as long as he stays healthy, he's a beast.
Yeah. Chris Carson is a very good fantasy pickup, too. Mm-hmm. Because he gets yards and he stays in on 3rd down. So I tend to agree with you there. Cory, they have a pretty good set of receivers in Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and even Freddie Swain to some degree. I'm not putting them in the top 10 as far as a trio goes, but do they have the necessary tools and talents to help Seattle get further into the playoffs than we've seen the last few times they've been there?
Those receivers?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that their receiving core is – I would say that a lot of teams would wish that they had their receiving core versus, you know, what they have. I'm not saying that about my squad, but a lot of teams would. Tyler Lockett is explosive, man, like you said. And, DK Metcalf is explosive. Tyler Lockett is explosive. So it's kind of like pick your poison with those two. We know Russell Wilson, what he can do, man. He's dynamic. But I will say for Russell Wilson, man, I don't know if it was the situation with the coaches, but we know he started off like he was all world. Like we thought he was going to be MVP of the league, and then he just fell off a cliff. So like we always say with any team, man, you're only going to go as far as your quarterback goes. So if he raises his game up to where it was in the beginning, like it was last year, and stay consistent, they're going to be hard to deal with.
So, Mike, this is one of your because you came on with the thumbs down. This is one of your division rivals. Mm. What is it that you would like to see or basically not see from Seattle that would make it easier for them to be trampled over?
Well, at first, the reason I gave them a thumbs down is because of all the teams in our division, that's the toughest one to me because they got the best quarterback. And when we play them, man, it's always, you got to really bring your A game to beat Russell Wilson. And as far as his fall off last year, he did start off like the MVP, man. He was balling. Their problem is always going to be they don't invest in the offensive line. I'm sorry. They try to cheapskate their way out of. They don't even want to pay Dwayne Brown. Now, come on, man. This dude is a solid left tackle, been an All-Pro and a Pro Bowler, and they trying to be cheap with him. So what does that tell Russell Wilson? Y'all not willing to invest in me and keeping me upright. But that's usually where their downfall is. They not an easy win. I mean, one thing about Russell Wilson, he's gonna always win 9 games. Always. He's gonna always come out with he hasn't had a losing season. This dude gonna always find a way to get him 9 games. And if you let the game be within 14 points at the start of the fourth, you got a fight on your hands, dude.
Yeah.
You got a fight on your hands, man. This dude is gonna give you everything he's got. He gonna run a little bit and he don't never let you hit him. He gonna always hook slide. You ain't gonna never get no lick on him. And he can throw the ball with the best of them. So I mean, I only hate teams that I have respect for, and I got a lot of respect for Russell Wilson. I mean, once again, this dude kept me out of the Super Bowl, so he earned my respect a long time ago. And I do think that with the receiving coach, like I said, I see Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf twice a year, and Tyler Lockett don't get talked about like he should, man. But that's a bad little old dude, man. This cat here, I mean, he will roast your secondary if you ain't getting consistent pressure and good coverage. He is deadly. And then DK Metcalf, this dude is a specimen. If he ever becomes an elite route runner, I don't know what you're gonna do with it. Right now, he's a decent route runner, but he's a big fast guy. If he ever gets to where he could really stick his foot in the ground and cut on a dime and make moves like that, God bless us all. God bless us all.
Well, with that being said, I'm going to say this about the Seahawks. A couple things, actually, before we get out of here. Jamal Adams, congratulations to him. He got the bag.
Jamal.
Yeah, he got the bag.
I think that's too much money to pay for a safety, but I'm glad they spent it there and didn't spend it on that O-line.
Yeah, well, they probably need to spend it on the O-line. And then the second thing is that this team could very conceivably, understandably finish first in the division. But you know what? I could see him finishing last too. They're
not gonna finish last. Russell, I'm telling you, Russell Wilson don't play that, cuz he don't play that at all.
I get that, but what I'm saying is this is a testament to how good that division is. Because of their offensive line issues, because of all of that we discussed, because of the drama in the offseason, I could see this team finishing first, but I could see them finishing last too. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I can see it. Yes or yes?
Man. If Russell Wilson get hurt, yeah. Other than
depends on the quarterback play.
Depends on the quarterback play. Okay, that's the thing, and I understand that. So if Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks, and he's the best quarterback in the division, then why in the world are we talking about the 49ers being a Super Bowl contender?
Because we the league. Because we know because we got what it takes to win. We got what it takes to win. It's our whole thing is, is Trey Lance is he going to perform well enough? Can he do what Ben Roethlisberger did his first year? Just do your job, man. Don't turn the ball over a whole lot. Keep the running game solid. Throw 25 touchdowns and throw the ball down the field at least 4 times a game. If we can do that, we can beat anybody.
And let's not forget, Kyle Shanahan. He is the son of Mike Shanahan, and who was a rookie quarterback in 2012. I think he works for ESPN now.
Roberto Griffin III.
Exactly. So Kyle Shanahan knows, and the one thing, just if you would have taken that injury out, his rookie year.
If he don't get hurt like he did, and then get re-hurt in that game against Seattle in the playoffs, they had that game won because they was rolling till he hurt his leg again.
And that changed the course of their whole franchise.
That was it because he rushed back the next year instead of taking the time to get healthy, and he never was the same again. But that's a good point, Jay. I didn't put it in that context. If Shanahan just allows him to use his assets and gifts, but also keep a rein on him to where he doesn't turn the ball over too much, we're gonna run the ball 25 times a game. You know what I'm saying? Our biggest thing we needed those 3 or 4 deep shots a game to make the defense back up. And we never would do that. So they just kept sitting on everything. You know, with Trey Lance now, watch George Kittle. Watch Kittle now. He won't have to play in such a congested box no more. And he already a dog.
All right, man. That's the music blaring in the background. So that means it's time to get up out of here. For Jae Mott, Cory Ellison, Big Mike, Willie Epting Jr. Man, y'all stay safe. Y'all hug each other. Y'all love each other. And we'll talk to y'all again real soon. Peace. We out.